everyone, hope you're having a good day. I'll just wait a couple of minutes for everyone else to join too. I think we're expecting a few more, so I'll just give it a couple of more minutes and then I'll get started. Hi, Steve. Hi, Gregor. Thank you all for joining. Okay, well, it's 2 minutes past, so I'll get started. Yes, Gregor, it will be recorded and it will be put on the hub either this afternoon or tomorrow, so they can catch up there. Okay, so hello everyone, welcome to March's webinar. Today I'll be discussing the professional licence. So throughout the course of this webinar, you'll learn what the professional licence is, what the benefits of this licence are, so what extra it will bring to your institution. I'll also talk a little bit about the stages involved in implementing the licence, so you understand a little bit about the process of upgrading. And finally, we will hear from some customers who will tell us a little bit about what they've achieved with the professional licence. Any questions throughout, please pop them in the chat and I'll cover them at the end. Okay, so the professional licence is the highest tier myday licence that you can have. It is an extra cost, and the main benefit of this licence is that it provides anonymous access to your myday platform. So essentially, anyone that isn't a full-time enrolled student can access your myday platform. Therefore, it means at whatever stage of the student journey, whether it be prospective, pre-enrolled, full-time enrolled, or alumni, the same system is used, acting as a digital front door to your institution, where you can go for all information. You achieve this by having different login buttons on a welcome dashboard that students can click and access personal information depending on whatever stage they're at the journey. With this licence, you can also provide parental access, which is very beneficial for colleges. It's also worth noting that if you upgrade to this licence, as well as the anonymous access, you will also receive a sandbox environment, so you can test and develop on your myday platform without fear of breaking anything on your live production environment. And you'll also receive individual user engagement reporting, which means that you can view the exact user who is engaged with the alerts that you sent out. Okay, so this is quite a busy slide, but it's a diagrammatic representation of how the professional licence works. So starting on the left-hand side at visitor, you can have a welcome dashboard to promote your institution that can then lead on to an applicant dashboard where you can showcase information such as videos from existing students, like little Q&As about what it's like on campus, you could have course lists or a calendar of events of open days, which can then lead on to a pre-enrollment dashboard where you can share information on accommodation, material lists. Then you lead on to your full-time enrolled student dashboard, which we all already have and hopefully love, which then on the other side, you can have an alumni dashboard, which is probably more important for our higher ed institutions, or a parent dashboard, more important for our further ed institutions. However, the important thing to note is that throughout this whole process, it's the same mobile app, the same myday portal, so the user only has to engage with one platform throughout their time at your institution. There are many benefits to this, but the key one being that the transition between the different stages of the student journey is seamless and efficient. It can be really overwhelming when a student starts college or university, and there can be so many different systems for them to get used to. So if one thing remains consistent throughout that whole process, and they know a system that they're already used to using at the pre-enrollment stage, and then they can use throughout their whole journey, it makes it a little bit less stressful for them, and also results in increased engagement as they know where to go for everything. And then as well as this, it's also easier for staff as they're using the same system throughout the journey to communicate with users via the newsroom, banner, or push notifications. It remains consistent at all times. Now, I just wanted to give you an idea of what's involved in the stages of implementation if you were to upgrade to this license. So you will be fully supported by one of our customer experience teams, most likely Sarah or Lindsay. And we start with a consultation to figure out what you want, leading on to a dashboard creation. So you'd set your landing page rules, create tiles, all your integrations would be sorted out, and you'd also develop that custom design. We follow this on by user management. So who are you going to allow access to edit and create this dashboard? We'll then move on to your custom sign-in screen. So how do you want your users to be able to sign in to your anonymous dashboards? There are a couple of options here. So at the consultation, we'll just figure out what's best for you. Then we move on to audience targeting. So which user will view which dashboard and the content on them, which is then when you'll be ready to go live. The timescale is about 8 to 12 weeks, and the whole process is fully supported throughout. And you also receive ongoing support to help you promote the platform and ensure that you get a great return on investment. Okay, so now I'm going to go through some of the dashboards that you could create with the license, and we're also going to hear from some institutions who will share what they've done with the license. So we'll start off with the welcome dashboard. As I mentioned earlier, this can be the digital front door to your institution, so a central hub for all information. We find that this technology may make your institution appear more sufficient, so you could have a virtual map on there. It's really user-friendly with a captivating design. As I just said, you can have maps, a help desk, and we find that this reduces the number of email requests and strain on the information services. But now we're going to hear from Abby from the University of Huddersfield. They have a welcome dashboard, and they've also just created a staff dashboard. So she's going to tell you a little bit about what they've done with this.
Thanks, Emma.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. So yeah, we're from University of Huddersfield, and we originally started out without the professional license, so we could only target students once they'd enrolled, and we decided to bring in basically get the professional license so that we could reach more students and basically take that limitation off of MyHud, really, of what we could use it for. So the welcome dashboard that you can see on screen at the moment is our sort of one-stop shop for getting onto the MyHud app. This is actually currently used by pre-enrollment. We've got some applicants on there, current students, and now staff. So this is the first page that they'll get to, the first dashboard that they see. We've implemented just one login button now, so that is then targeted. So once whoever it is that logs in, they will go straight to their home dashboard. And we've added in there things like term dates, useful contacts, there's a campus map, things like students' union and accommodation options. So that's really open to students from pre-enrollment if they're looking at accommodation and things. Current students can use it for staff searching and wellbeing and disability support. And then everyone else can sort of log straight in and head to their dashboards. So off the back of that, we have created a pre-enrollment portal essentially within our MyHud app. So that is used sort of past the applicant stage, I guess, just before they actually join us. And there are multiple things that they can do on there. So we've implemented and photo upload so that they can get their student ID sorted before they get onto campus. So that's made life a bit easier for some of our staff. They can see things like sample reading lists, check and update their personal details. They can choose optional modules, check that fees have been paid. So there's all sorts of bits that they can use on there, as well as things like health centre registration, see the campus map, have a look at the active hood, the gym sort of facilities and things like that. So as Emma said, it's a good way of students being able to start using the app before they actually join us, and then they know how to work it when they actually become a student, and it just makes it a smooth and sort of consistent journey for them. We have got the staff portal now embedded in MyHood as well. So that used to be run on SharePoint, and we've recently migrated that over. So it's its own sort of, I think we've got 3 dashboards essentially that are all linked together. And that's got everything that the staff are used to seeing. So there's a notice board on there, there's quick access to their emails, they can book rooms on there, all sorts of different things, but just bringing it all together under one umbrella. And this has actually helped, I think, some staff that haven't necessarily used MyHood before, they can now go on it and see sort of what the students experience as well through the app. So it's been really good for that. We only implemented that over the last couple of weeks, so it's just started rolling out to staff, so they're getting used to using it now. But I think it's great to have it all in one place. And then going forward, we are looking into the sort of applicant side. So we currently have international applicants using the app, particularly to check their visas, visa status, and they can upload documents through the app as well. But yeah, we're looking at potentially rolling that out to postgraduate researchers to begin with, and then seeing where we go from there. But I think that's the joy of the professional license. We can sort of take it that bit further and really tailor what each audience sees.
Yeah, thank you. You have done some really amazing things with the professional license. I specifically like the photo upload that you have on your pre-enrolled.
Yeah, it's definitely useful. I think it used to be we'd have students lining up to get the photos taken with webcams. So yeah. It's definitely useful.
Oh, great. Thank you, Abby.
Thank you.
So another example of what you could do, as well as the welcome dashboard and all the dashboards that Abby just spoke a little bit about, is an induction dashboard. So really this is just to help manage the resources a little bit better throughout that induction process. Stop all the leaflets and prospective and all the posts that you're going to be sending out. So it's a bit greener, a bit more environmentally friendly too. And that helps students remain engaged before induction, so you can keep sending out the push notifications throughout summer. So they can just stay engaged with the institution, feel like they're part of an institution before they even get there. And also just makes that transition from college to institution or from school to college a little bit easier, as you know your key communication channel. And then also it does obviously reduce the number of emails that you'll send, and that will just get lost within an inbox of spam. Okay. And then another example that you could have is the other side of it, of the student journey, that is an alumni dashboard. So this just creates, as I said earlier, and as Abby said, just that consistency across throughout the whole student journey. And it ensures that the institution remains an integral part of their identity, and you can really ensure that they remain great advocates for the institution. So you could have a calendar of events to make sure that they keep up to date and ensure that they have a way, an easy way to give back to their university, and that they still want to promote the institution through their personal and professional networks. And again, it's just that effective communication piece. So they have the app already. They're not going to have to download a new one. So it's the same form of communication from that full-time enrolled student that they're already used to. So now we're going to hear from Jo at the University of Wales, Trinity St David's, who has done the whole student journey with the myday app, from prospective to full-time enrolled through to alumni. So I'll hand over to Jo now, who can tell you a little bit more about what they do.
Hi everyone, thanks Emma for that introduction. So yeah, I'm Jo and I'm from the University of Wales Trinity St David's, and we introduced the brand new app in 2019 to complement our student hub service that was newly introduced. And we started off just with the students in mind. So it's that one place where the students could go to get access to all the student accounts, useful information, benefits, some exclusives. So it's that place that everyone could contact, that one place of contact. What we did see then quite quickly was actually students were coming on board and we were getting increased queries about logins, passwords, and general questions in regards to enrolment, module selection. So on the back of that, we then introduced our applicant dashboard. So we spoke to a lot of new starters. Our students had some focus groups to find out what was it that they were missing from that applicant journey. So they really gave us a lot of insight into what would have been useful for them before they started. Even though we were getting that information readily available to them, they weren't always accessing the emails. So for us, the introduction to the applicant dashboard saw around an 80%, just under 80% reduction in those queries in that first month in the main welcome for us in September. And it was really useful because we've got several intakes throughout the year, because we don't just have campuses in Wales for the central welcomes in September and January. We've all got them in Birmingham as well as London, and their welcomes are throughout the year. So that applicant dashboard is really proven to be a really useful tool for our applicants. And not just that, it keeps them interested as well ahead of their starting. So it's that really good communication, and with push notifications, we're able to get that information out to them really easily. So off the back of that, we then thought, so what can we do next? And this is where the alumni dashboard came into play. We didn't have an alumni officer at the time. So for us, it was convening a little group to find out actually what do alumni want and what was going to be the purpose of the dashboard. So we met with some alumni as well, and in the meantime, an alumni officer was appointed. But we came to our dashboard that actually it was that good portal for those previous students, alumni, to find out what we were doing. Those that were maybe sponsoring some programs, they could actually see the developments on the campuses, where their money was going, where their donations were going. And as a result, we have seen some challenges. We've had some data protection challenges to overcome, and with licenses, which Emma and the team were brilliant to help us resolve. And all we're doing now is building. So our relationship with Emma is going to continue, and we're looking at developing it now, enhancing it. What more can we do? Because we're really getting buy-in from the alumni now, but what can we do to keep them interested? And actually, why do they need it? So we've got some challenges to come ahead, but as a result of Emma and the team, we've really come a long way in the last 4 years. So we're really excited to where we can go next.
Oh, thank you, Jo. Yeah, it is important that you keep updating it, isn't it? So it doesn't remain static and people want to engage with it.
Yeah.
Oh, fab, thank you.
Thanks, Emma.
So now I will go on to the parent dashboard that you can create. So this is more aimed at further education institutions where you may want your parents to have some visibility on their child's progress and engagement. So they can just view their myday dashboard, and like students can, they'll have all information that they need to see in that one place. For example, you could share a calendar of term dates or exams or any events that might be going on. You can also promote events through the platform and use that banner, the first thing that you see when you go onto the dashboard. And you can also send push notifications to ensure that they don't forget things, or if the student hasn't turned up to class, instead of sending a text, you can start with a push notification, so you have that money, you're saving on money too. You can also, using the tasks tile, signpost to any outstanding payments or trips, just anything that's still due to complete. So hopefully, again, you don't have to send as many text reminders, so you can save on money. We've heard from Steve Hedges quite a lot at New City College on what they've achieved with their parental dashboard. So I thought it might be quite nice to hear from someone else. And Dudley College is actually currently in the process of implementing their parent dashboard. So it hasn't gone live yet, but we've got John from Dudley College on the call, who's going to share a little bit about what the process has been like. And so I'll hand over to John now.
Yeah, sure. Can you hear me okay? Just making sure everything's fine before I start rambling on. Yeah, it's been an interesting one, really, because I only really took over the e-learning department who look after myday as a product in the summer. But before that, I have been at the college for about 14 years, so we've used myday as kind of mainly a sort of student dashboards. Part of my project before that was to kind of implement a parent portal, and I couldn't really find anything out there in the market that could tie all the different systems and the complex needs of an FE organization into something complete. So as kind of like a little test sort of setup or environment, it was the first year that we actually collected parental data, parental emails, which has been a kind of challenge within itself, really, just from the enrollment stage, where quite often I might have found that students might have just put their own email address in, or kind of put in their brothers or their sisters. So sorry, I didn't know if that question was for me. I got a bit distracted. So we went to the upgrade license, where we could actually kind of shift to an anonymous dashboard, so it doesn't automatically sign as a student, so that we could showcase certain bits of information that might be useful to parents, things like parents' evenings or college events, or giving away to be able to push out notifications and track back engagement that we didn't really have before, other than potentially sending an email out or letter home with the students. One of the things that is slightly different as well is, for any of the design work, I wanted to put it in line with the college website. I think that previously it was kind of two different departments, two different people working on it, so the design was very, very different. But I think the expectation is that actually they should look the same, and it should be that kind of same experience, and all the information that you get from the website should be available through some format through that app. So we've tested it so far with a small cohort of learners, about 70 travel and tourism learners, with about 150 parents so far. We've just imported and created that through. We're waiting on feedback at the moment. I've just kind of handed that over, really, a little bit scary, but I think the initial stage, we haven't put in too much interactive information. The only interactive information is the attendance data. So a parent can have a look in a kind of graphical interface, what their attendance, what their punctuality is, a little bit of a culture change with that transparency of, right, teachers, you need to make sure your registers are marked on time, and marked in a timely fashion, because now the parents can see if you haven't caught up on your registers, or it's incorrect, or you're going to cut off that mass marketing, that mass marking. So that was a little bit of a, right, don't be scared, it's making it transparent, but this is a good thing ultimately. And again, as we add more and more functionality into it, looking at what you mentioned before around payments or credits, or certain bursary forms, or whatever it might be, making sure that SLT recognise that this is a project that not just going to be able to switch on and all of the features be there singing and dancing. It's something that we should build on and continue to build on, and do it more in a controlled manner. I know that the NCC like to have links to Pro Portal as much as possible, and everything's done through the Pro Portal stages. What I'm trying to do is trying to reduce the links and make things a little bit more interactive through the myday apps, or creating custom apps, which I'm on a course for today as well. I think that my implementation, or the implementation here at the college, is probably going to be a little bit longer, and I'm probably, as I'm kind of continuing to develop it, but I think it's definitely the right thing to do. So the question around accessibility, this was the screenshot that you've got there was just a quick mock-up on what it could look like based off the website. I'm not saying that this is the final design. I am currently working on the final design that's a little bit more struck back, but this was generally used to sell the idea to SLT.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, John. It's going really well. Like, really well. I hear from Lindsay and Andy that a lot of work has been put into it. and you
Yes.
definitely get some results with it.
Brilliant. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so there's some questions in the chat, so I'll just cover them now. What integrations tend to be used for tiles in the alumni dashboard? I don't know if Jo's still there, if she wouldn't mind sharing what kind of tiles they have on their alumni dashboard. I don't know if she's still there. I am putting her on the spot a little bit. So I think mainly it is just newsroom, maybe emails, integrations that you'd have on there. Obviously you wouldn't have your LMS and stuff because it's not relevant. But that's something that the customer experience team will work through with you in the consultation to figure out what you want on there, and they know from their past experience of implementing other customers on there what's common, and they can give you advice on that. Next question. What does myday integrate with Microsoft Teams? It doesn't integrate with Microsoft Teams, no. You can signpost to Microsoft Teams from myday, but we're limited by Microsoft on the level of integration that we can have with that. So I think that answers all the questions in the chat, and I'll move on. So we're going to do a quick poll to indicate who's interested in this license, and if so, then we can send some follow-up information to you. So I'll just leave that on screen for a minute. Thank you again to Abby, Jo and John for sharing what they've done with the license. It's been really great to hear, and I'm sure very helpful to anyone interested in upgrading. Just leave the poll up there for a little bit more. I can see we've got 25 attendees, so I'll wait for everyone to have a chance to answer. Whilst the poll's up there, you should have last Thursday received an email from us asking how likely it would be that you'd recommend Reg Education to a colleague or a friend. It would be really great if you could have a look through your email inbox and fill that out for us. As well as rating us, there is a comment section, and then comments are really invaluable to us. It's the only way that we can improve. So please do give us a rating and a comment. That would be really great. Oh, just moved on to the next slide. Got another. Can you monitor how many anonymous users are using the app? No, we can't. That isn't available. So you're not licensed. That isn't how the licensing works on the professional license. Obviously on myday Enhanced, you're licensed per user. We license a little bit differently on the anonymous for that reason. We are upgrading our analytics in the next quarter, so hopefully you will be able to see how many users are accessing each dashboard, which will allow you to monitor which are anonymous and which are full-time enrolled a little bit easier. So that should be coming in the analytics refresh. Is there any more questions that anyone has? Just pop them in the chat if there is. No? Okay, well, I think, oh, will the analytics refresh include search? I don't know. Is the straight answer. I'd recommend that you we have a post on the customer hub where customers have been adding onto an analytics thread everything that they'd like to see in the analytics refresh. I'd recommend that you put it on there, as that is what our product manager is using to what's the word I'm looking for? To mold, that's not the right word, but to shape what the analytics refresh will look like. So if you pop it on there, then he'll get that and it will go directly to the product manager, so he can consider involving it in the refresh. Okay, fab, great. I'm glad you already posted the suggestion there. If anyone else has any other suggestions product related, please just pop them in the customer hub, and that is where the product manager gets to them. I think there's going to be a product roadmap review as well soon, so hopefully we can give you some more updates on that in a few months' time. Okay, and the next webinar is in April. It is on tile templates. So it will be our product manager hosting that webinar, and invite for that will go out probably next week. So look out for that. Thank you all for joining, and thank you again to the presenters. It was really great. Thank you. Bye. I hope you all have a nice day. Thank you.